Star Wars Rebels Season 3. I just reviewed Season 2, put out the video yesterday. Now we're talking about Season 3, and then I will have Season 4 next week. The goal is to have all these reviews out by before Maul comes out, and at the rate I'm going, I should have all these reviews out by the week right before Maul comes out. So that show looks great, by the way. And this was a very important Season 2 review. Before that, I guess spoilers for this season. And I say spoilers for this season because I didn't really do that for the other seasons, but I feel like I kind of forgot that there's people who probably are watching this show right now for the first time because the Maul series comes out and they want to know what happens to Maul in the show. But this season is pretty good, actually. I didn't feel like season 1 and 2 were that great. Let me explain my biggest issues with this season first, and then we'll talk about what's really good about it, because the good actually weighs out the bad this time. I still don't really like Ezra as a character. He is kind of given less to do here, but his lines are still annoying, and he just feels like an annoying nuisance on the show. I mean, even the episode about Maul tracking Obi-Wan really should have just been an episode about Maul tracking down Obi-Wan, but the Ezra stuff was thrown in there, and it just ruins the flow of the episode. The Sabine episode where she's training with Kanan just should have been an episode where she's training with Kanan and Ezra has to step out. But instead, Ezra's in there for a little bit and then he has to leave. Things like that just don't work. I just don't like Ezra as a character. And at first, at the beginning of the season, it seemed like they were going in an interesting direction with it because the way the last season ended with Kanan being blind, Ezra now has a Sith holocron. It's revealed that he's using it, and it seems like the show is going with a darker tone, maybe, possibly, but it doesn't really stick to that. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is more serious plot lines this season, but it doesn't actually go darker. It doesn't make you feel like we're in a war. There a little bit of it does, but it's still like there's less goofy filler episodes, I would say. But that doesn't really make it great. So that's my issues with this season. Now let's talk about the great with this season. Maul is awesome in this season. The episode where he tries to combine the two Sith holocrons so he can find out where Obi-Wan is, finds out... Well, not to find out where Obi-Wan is. I forgot the reason he does it. But that was a great episode. He finds out that Obi-Wan's still alive. He goes track down. His death was great. Older Obi-Wan doing the Ewan McGregor pose, then moving to the Alec Guinness pose was beautiful, and then taking him out. Great episode. Thrawn as the main villain in the show that actually sticks around to the end of the show was great. He's amazing. Kallus started to have a redemption arc in season 2, but the way they actually make a lot of that go full circle in this season is fantastic. Sabine leaving the show after going on a little Mandalorian quest to reunite her people was fantastic. Love a lot of that. And of course, she'll re-pop up later in the show. But, that was great stuff. I really liked a lot of that. I thought all that stuff and the way they used that shot with Ezra to call back to the big shot with Obi-Wan. I love all that stuff. I thought this season had a lot of like the goodies that us fans wanted. It isn't as great as it should have been, right? Because I mean, the best way we would have seen a lot of this is on the Clone Wars show, but unfortunately that didn't happen, and we're just stuck dealing with some of this stuff. But I've grown to like some of these characters a lot, especially Kanan and Hera. Ezra not so much. Sabine actually, I like some of the stuff they're doing with her. I think my only issue with Sabine is like, you're fucking 16 and all this shit has happened to you. It's still kind of crazy, but it works well enough. I think this show is pretty solid up until this point. It took a couple lackluster seasons to get here, but it started really improving by this point. We'll talk about season 4 in its own video, but let's just say I don't remember season 4 being like the best of the series, but we'll talk about it. It's only a 15 episode season though, so shouldn't be too hard to get through. Let me know your thoughts, like, share, and subscribe.